Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me clearly? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly. I got a new toy, a new microphone. So I want to make sure you got me loud and clear. Everybody good? Mike, you ready?
Yep.
My guy. Awesome. Everyone, hello. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Yep. You like the tunes, my guy. So what I always love to start this off by one win for today, like one win, one positive thought. So Mike, I'm gonna start with you, man. You the guest. Give me one win that you had today, just something positive, man.
Why is that always challenging? That should not be challenging. Something positive. Um, that's not okay. I mean, I ran a couple meetings today and they went well. Oh, okay, wait, here's a win. Here's a win. I finalized on an event that I have to do for work, and so that's a win. I made the final. I confirmed the date, and it's gonna happen. So that's a win.
That's awesome. How long you been working on that?
Um, Probably a month or so or something like that with back and forth emails and whatnot.
Okay. All right, I got it. I got it. That's
Hey,
awesome.
Sade, what's up?
Hey, Sade's buying a house with us, brother. It's small world, right?
I feel like she already had one.
She a baller. She got to get multiple houses.
Got money.
That's right. Yo, somebody else, man. Tell me something. Win. Put it in the chat. Give us one win. We're gonna read it out. I got a prize for the person who puts a win up, and we're gonna wait for y'all because I know somebody. I got a lot of positive people on here that I know are winning every day in life. Because if you breathing, if you 10 toes down, if you got family and you healthy. Oh yes, Ben. Yep. My eyes are open. Aaron Broadus had a great back workout, my neck and my back, right? Miss Younger, I finished the work day. And didn't you finish the work day and didn't use any cussing? Winning. Yes. Winning. Healthy kids, completed training I've been putting off. Yeah. Best team in the nation worldwide. I think you should win, Alex, just because you on our team and you say that, my guy. Reach my step goal before 7 p.m. Pause in a moment, was getting overwhelmed, gave myself grace that I needed. JR, that is brilliant. Woke up this morning, AJ, Chris Mays. I made it through day 3. Whoa, day 3, no sugar. How you feeling, brother? Day 3, no sugar. Tell me how you feeling. Went on my first outing with baby number 2 by myself. Gave that a break. Yes.
Oh, that's Alon. Hey, Alon.
Happy belated birthday. I know I wished you birthday, but happy belated birthday. Everybody wish Alon happy belated birthday for me. Chris Mays, pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you, brother. Making progress on the business outside of my day job. Love it. Got my HVAC roughed in on my first property in Baltimore. Aaron, I think I'm gonna get you on one of these. You're gonna talk about your experience. Aaron Broadus is one of our clients, one of our Mason alums. He bought his first investment property in Baltimore, is doing a major renovation. So I think I'm gonna get you on here, which will be good. All right, cool. Let's get rolling. I'm super excited for this, guys. Just because I've known Mike for a while and I know his story, and I've been able to play a small part in this story. So I'm super excited. So we're gonna talk about buying investment properties 101. All right, 101. And let me kind of get this thing rolling. All right, so that's me, AJ, AJ Team. You know how we do it. Many of you are clients and friends. Mike happens to be a 3-time client. And I want to first talk, Mike, about the connection and the convo, So you want to tell a little bit about how we got connected. And I really would like for you to kind of talk a little bit about the first conversation that we had, because I think it sets the bar for what we're going to talk about for the next 30 minutes.
Yep. So we actually got connected. So I believe, I mean, I knew you were alumni somehow, and I reached out to you on Facebook. I don't even know if you remember this, years ago, like probably in 2011 or 2012 or something like that, Facebook message, and you replied. So that was the initial. And then basically from there, I think it was probably a few years later, that I maybe seen you at some events or just knew that you were part of the alumni and knew what you did with real estate and you're super friendly. And then from there, I reached out to you for I wanted to get a crib. And this was either 2014 or 2015. I think maybe 2015. I forget now.
Yep.
And you hooked me up with your team and gave me 5-star treatment. So that's how it started.
That's cool. Do you remember the conversation we had?
No.
All right, cool. So guys, if you have not read if you don't have a copy of the book, go in the chat. Let me know you don't have a copy of the book. Connect at AJTeamRealty.com. Connect at AJTeamRealty.com. I know all y'all can afford to buy the book, right? But if you just want me to give you a copy of the book, because I will do that. But I will let you know that all the proceeds from this book go to our mentoring program and our Be a Blessing Foundation. 100% of the proceeds. So I want to read this real quick. It's from chapter 23. It's a young person's plan for real estate wealth. Many of the strategies I use in wealth building and real estate weren't learned in school or some great mentor. They were learned through common sense. In this world, I'm finding that common sense is becoming more and more of an asset. I bought my first place and simply because it was the same amount as rent. And the FHA loan I used required very little money down. I moved into the townhouse and realized I wasn't really using my basement, so I decided to rent it out. After a few months, I realized that I was saving money, so I created a separate bank account to go buy another property. Within 2 years, I had enough money to go buy a slightly bigger property, a nicer townhome. I used the same formula. After 6 years, I owned 3 small, profitable investments and used very little of my own money to buy them. It's the perfect formula for young buyers to build real estate wealth. You use the fact that you can buy with very little money down and find a way to think outside of the box. The prototypical first-time home buyer is typically a great future investment property. Think about it. It's similar to the property you're already renting. It would make the perfect investment property. I recommend to our younger clients that they look at their first purchase as more of an investment than a permanent home. And if and when they choose to relocate, they turn their home into a rental investment. Some will ask, how long do I need to stay in one place before I make how long do I need to stay in one place to make buying a home worthwhile? Rule of thumb is 2 years. If you buy with the future investment in mind, how long you plan to stay won't matter. It will be a great income property after you move on. Does that sound a little bit about like the conversation I had with you?
It's ridiculous. It's the same thing. Did you steal my story?
I did steal your story, dog.
Wait, what?
Well, no, it was my story. It worked for me, right? And then you were my test dummy.
So I stole your story. So I basically just literally copied everything you did.
That's right. That's right. So I really want to talk about the strategy and the mindset. So when I told you that, like, what did you think? Did you think it was something you could get accomplished? Like, what were your roadblocks? Or what are things that you had to kind of put in your mindset to get your head wrapped around that?
So first off, I live in Northern Virginia, so I'm like, I can't afford to do that. I wasn't making a lot of money at all, actually. For real, it was nothing. It was like, I ain't gonna say what it was, but it was bad.
Well, just tell me. Go ahead, tell me. You and family.
So this was I think I was probably making like low 40s or something like that in Northern Virginia, right? Where rent is crazy for a 1-bedroom. Yep. So I'm like, I can't do that. Number one. And then the whole, renting it out and flipping it and all this other stuff that my mind never thought about that. I'm just like, hey, I got to find a place to stay and I don't want to spend a lot. Like, how can I do that? So I think those were my initial thoughts was I don't make a lot of money right now. And like, where can I find a property that's affordable? Because with Northern Virginia and DC, the stigma is everything is super expensive, which it is. So you just think that means you're not qualified and you can't get it.
Right. That's cool. So let's talk about your first property. Let's kind of dig in. All right. So how old are you when you buy your first property? Do you remember?
Yes, I was 20. Oh, I was 25.
25. So young.
25.
I was going to Dream back then. I was going to Love the Club.
Why do I know the name of that? That's before it was called Dream Before Love.
That's right. Yo, if you're from the DMV, tell me your favorite club. I want you to put in the chat, like, where did you go chill like your favorite club? I want to see it because I'm sure I'm going to see some Ritz in there. I'm going to see some crazy stuff.
H2O.
H2O. H2O. Quigley's. Who remembers Quigley's? Yeah, I'm aging myself. All right. So first property, 2014. Locations, Woodbridge, right?
Yep.
You decided to buy a condo first.
Yes.
Why?
So number one, it was what I could afford. Number two, just knowing within my I think when I first started to look at places, I realized what was in my budget and what I could and couldn't do. I did know with condos from research, and I think maybe even talking to your team about like the different condo fees. So that was a little scary. Like, okay, wait, condo fees and HOA fees that will never go away likely.
Right.
So that was slightly scary. But the benefit of a condo is obviously the exterior maintenance is taken care of. My property was really nice. It was by a lake, and it was 160K by a lake, 2-bedroom, and also had a den for a 3rd bedroom and 2 baths. So it was the second place I made an offer on because it was either second or third place I made an offer on. And I knew I wanted it because there was another property in the same neighborhood, but that I didn't get. So I was like, hey, I want this one. So that's why I chose the condo.
And who did you have supporting you? Obviously, we were here supporting you. We were encouraging you. But did you have any friends or any family members that were like, yo, Mike, this is a good thing for you to be buying a home at the age of 25?
Yeah, honestly, the fall before, because literally, most people plan for years and years to get a place. I never planned it. Like it was October or November of whatever year that was prior to me buying in March of the following year or May of the following year. And it was my mom talking to my mom and then my brother-in-law just about whatever. And they're like, yeah, just get a place. And I'm like, how do I get what are you talking about? Why do you just say it so easy? But again, it's to the point of your book is like, hey, I'm paying this amount, 1,200 at the time for a 1-bedroom in Alexandria. I can put that towards a mortgage. Like, so just do it. But yeah, that was my support system, my family for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So to continue to break down, is you brought less than $4,300 cash to close, right? Mm-hmm. So I believe we got your closing costs back in 2014. We could get closing costs paid for. So we got your closing costs paid for. Your monthly mortgage, including your condo fee, was $1,300. And then when did you start renting that property out? Like I know you lived in it initially.
Immediately. You mean after I left completely?
So take me through that story. You stayed in that. How long did you stay in that property? Did you rent out rooms? What did that look like? When did you turn it into a full-time investment property?
Yep. So my intention of going in there is like, hey, I'm renting these rooms out as soon as like tomorrow. So that was the whole reason I wanted at least 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom in the den for a 3-bedroom. So when I moved in, the following month, my friend moved in and he was paying probably $750 or something like that, I think. And then probably a year or two later, he moved out and I had 2 roommates move in. So one person moved in the den, one person moved in his room. And I did that. I had every room filled for probably 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay. And then when you've got it all filled, obviously rents have gone up, but right now that place is rented out per room, or is it rented out pretty much all together?
Right now it's per room.
Okay. So, yeah. So per room, you're renting it out. You're getting about $2,000 a month, and you did 0 renovations. So that means you are cash flowing $700 a month off that property.
Correct. Yeah.
Off of a $4,500 investment. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what I'm like when I tell you I didn't eat at the beginning, I didn't plan months and months and 2 years. All right, I'm going to save this amount. And then I literally got in and I got a grant. I got a $5,000 grant because I wasn't making a lot of money. So a lot of that helped cover a lot of my costs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you bought this property with the investment mindset, correct?
Yep. Okay,
cool. So let's get to the next property real quick. So next property is a townhouse in Woodbridge, 2020. Okay. Yep. I remember you called me on when you were ready to buy this property. You're like, I'm ready. And I was like, okay, this dude's, he says he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that this property happened to be one of our listings, right? So, it pays to have real estate friends. Let's just say that it pays to have real estate friends. And so he did a wonderful job helping you through this process. You purchased it for 310, right? Um, Now you brought more money to the table on this,
Yes.
right? Obviously, you were making more money, but were you making that much more money where you were able to like save $4,800? I mean, $48,000, or was part of that $700 per month that you were making off the condo part of the savings that you used to buy this property?
For sure, the condo money was easy. The condo money from get go was bank going to the bank, saving, saving, saving. So from day one, when I was renting it out to my rooms to when I left and was fully renting it out to, you know, everybody, that's where a lot of the savings came from. Where the 48,000 came from for sure.
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, it wasn't just. I mean, I was making more, but it wasn't like, you know, that much to be able to just have it in the bank like that. Yeah, it was from the real estate for sure.
That's good. That's good. Now, was this total like I'm gonna move in, I got more space, or was this like, yo, this is gonna be a rental property really soon, and that's my mentality?
Yep. So this one was strictly rental property. So I remember I called you January of 2020. Was like, hey, I want to flip. And you like, you sure you want to flip? It's very cash heavy. You got to be there all the time. Like it's not what you think. He said, why don't you just copy what you're doing already with the condo? And I said, okay, I didn't really think about that. Is that the way to go? He's like, you're killing it. And I said, all right. So I did it. So I knew immediately this was going to be investment, which is why I had to put more down because you know you got to put 20% down or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, immediately I knew this was the plan. So I wanted at least 4 bedrooms to be able to rent out to make a
Okay.
little bit more.
Okay. So a lot of people, and I did a video on this earlier today that'll be released later on in the month. But a lot of people go into properties and they get very emotionally attached to investment properties, right? It's got to be this certain way, right? How do you walk into these properties? Look, everyone wants something to look nice and for aesthetics to be nice. How do you separate your feelings of how I'm going to live in the property to this is just a good income property?
Yeah, that's really good too because I went with my friend. He was like, "Oh Mike, this is great. This is every place. Oh, this is you'll love it." I'm like, "Look, just relax, like chill. I'm not staying there." So my main thing is bedrooms, 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 parking. Because I'm thinking about if I'm gonna have tenants, they're gonna need a place to park and a place to sleep.
Right.
Those are the main thing, and bathrooms. Those are the main things. Really, really bedrooms and parking, and at least two bathrooms. I can make everything else work. So those were things I was looking at. So the finishes and stuff was cool. But I wasn't like, woo, like I'm just like, look, where's somebody gonna sleep? And what do I have to do? Like, will I have to do a lot of work in it? And this place was just ready. The parking was great, location was great, not too far from my other condo. So when I need to go down and do stuff at the condo, I can stop here, get my mail, might do some work here, you know, DIY stuff there. So the location and everything really fit perfectly. And I think the key is just saying, yeah, knowing what you need for renters. So I knew I need rooms for money and I knew I need parking.
Mm.
And parking sucks in Northern Virginia. So if you can find a place with great parking, that's cool. Like I found one, it was one place, Southern Woodbridge, that was like beautiful. Like I would move in there. I was like, this is great. It was an in unit, everything, but it only had 2 spots and guest parking was far away. So that's one that I would have wanted to live in because it was just so nice. But I'm like, nah, let me put that to the side.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 So tell me a little bit about house hacking, right? You're busy. You work for Amazon, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Came up making a lot more money now than you were when you first started, obviously. But like, what about that person that says like, I don't have time to house hack. Like, I don't have time to have like 3 or 4 different tenants in a property. Talk to him about how you navigate through that process.
Yeah. So I thought of it a couple ways. I decided to go the room option. And I know we say we don't have time, but it's
It's okay.
once you get once you get folks into the place, it becomes like clockwork. I don't hear from my tenants all the time. It's not major stuff. So once you get the challenging part is the beginning, because you got to find the house and find the tenants or whatever. But once you get it in, it literally runs itself. But I would say just do what works for you. So for me, I chose individual rooms because it's more money. I'm doing this for investment. The money is going to be for me, but it's also so I can go and bless other people and build more empires to be able to bless lineage and whatever, right? So in Northern Virginia, that's a big market for it. Also, I'm like, okay, people are always going to need a room. If one room is vacant, I still have money from my other two rooms. I'm still good. When the pandemic hit, I still was good because somebody paying $700 worth of rent or $800 worth of rent versus $2,000 because they rent the whole townhouse. That's going to be harder for them to pay. But if you're just $800, even if you lose your job, you still would be okay. You may be, okay with paying that. So I would say, I know you're thinking about time. I think at the beginning it does take some time, but afterwards it really runs itself. And then also think about investment. When you got your money and it's just in savings and that's it, savings don't do nothing with your money. You might get a cent or a penny, but real estate, people are always going to need a place to live. And even if you're like, well, I don't, what happened? Just sell it later on. And it's likely going to increase, or just rent it.
Yeah.
So, or get a property management company to rent it, pay $100 a month or whatever it is. So I just think it's a very solid investment. I mean, I believe most of the wealthy people in the world, that's how they get their money, is through real estate, from what I know, and probably stocks too. But
Real
so
estate.
yeah.
Yeah, real estate. I mean, the numbers like crazy, like 90%, 95% do some type of real estate, right? Either owning or managing or developing, something like that. And here's the beautiful thing. I ran your numbers on your properties, and this townhouse was still rent for $2,200 a month, right? So if you just rented it straight out, you would still cash flow $600 a month, right? So
Yep.
I think the beautiful thing about real estate, he decided that he wants, since he's young and he's got attention, he wants to stretch his dollar right now so he can go acquire more. There's probably going to come a time where Mike's not going to rent the rooms anymore, right? He's just going to rent the entire place, but he would have made a lot of money between now and then. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the flexibility of real estate, is it allows you to be able to stretch it if you really want to stretch it.
Yep.
Cool. So hold on. So I just got to look at these numbers real quick again. Your monthly mortgage, including your HOA, is $1,600, and you are almost making $3,000 a month.
Yep. Basically. Yep.
That's crazy. Now, do you pay utilities though, right?
No, so I get, actually, this is great now. I have a way to where my tenants pay utility. They pay me a flat fee of like $85. And so 85 times 4 is 300 something or whatever. So they cover the utilities.
And it covers everything.
Yep. And the condo, same thing. They pay a flat fee, and that covers for the most part most of the utility, or probably all the utilities.
Right. Got a couple questions for you. Have you had any bad tenants or roommates that didn't get along?
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I have. And I have figured out, I'll tell you a story, a couple of them. I'll tell you one. But the key is to go with your gut, go with your instinct. At the beginning, when you're screening people, if you don't feel right and something ain't right, trust it. And I didn't do that. This actually happened this is December of 2020, I think. Right after, yeah, because it was the same year I got this. I had a young guy, he found my ad and he was interested. So I talked to him. And when I'm talking to him, something was just a little off. He wasn't able to fully answer my questions. I just was asking about him and why he was leaving his previous residence. And he had mentioned something about, a window being cracked and the landlord's not fixing it, or something just really random.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can you tell me a little bit more? He was just all over the place. But I was like, well, maybe he's just young, blah, blah, blah. Let me give him a chance. So I give him a chance. And I let him move in, and I even was flexible with the security deposit. I said, just pay me what you have now, and you can pay me some more later. Never do that. I don't care if they are your brothers or whoever, always get a security deposit up front. Like that's another no-no. Okay. So I did that in the first week that I had him. Probably the second day, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, have you seen my Nike slides, like flip-flops?"
Called
I'm
you.
like, "No." And he's like, "Well, they're not in my room anymore." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you want? Like, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "Well, I rented this place and it's supposed to be secure, and I can't find my Nike slides. And there's only one other roommate at this time in the basement." So I'm like, "Did you ask the other roommate?" He's like, "I shouldn't have to ask." I'm like, "Look, this ain't gonna work. Do you look? I'll give you your money back, subtracting the days you stayed. But do you want to leave or not? Because I'm not doing all this." So he was super weird with that, right? And then fast forward a couple weeks later, I got complaints from the neighbor about noise complaint. And guess who it was from? It was from him.
Mr. Nike
Blasting his music,
Slides.
blasting his music. Even though there's a music clause, a noise clause in my lease, they called me complaining. So I had to call him. He says, okay, he'll turn it down. 2 weeks later, get another complaint. The neighbors called belligerent, like super upset, like taking it out on me. And I'm like, hey, I'll call him. I'll take care of it. But please feel free to call the police if you need to, because he's disturbing the peace, whatever. Call him, yada, yada, yada. Following month, get another one. And also now he's like crazy. And he has some, basically he had some mental things, I'll say that he was dealing with, because
Right.
some of the things that he talked to me about afterwards, and it just was off. He
Right.
blocked my number eventually. I ended up having to give him a 30-day notice for noise, and thank God he left.
Mm.
But go with your gut. So yes, that's one story, and I have probably had another one, but a lot of it is because I didn't go with my gut.
Yeah, I think, and we'll go over a couple things here, and I'll get to all your questions, guys, as we go along. But yeah, you got to trust your gut. I've had situations where I've second guessed myself, and I wish I just would have waited for the right tenant. Right? If it feels, it's like a girlfriend. If she got like a little, like just some tendencies, it's gonna come out eventually in the wash. Right? So you just got to trust your gut. The great thing about owning real estate is you can write off your losses. So if it takes you like 3 or 4 months to get the right tenant, you're writing that off of your gain. So, I always tell people, if you make a certain amount of money, you're probably paying Uncle Sam a lot of taxes. Real estate is a great way to hide income, right? And to be able to buffer the taxes that you're going to pay. All right. Cool. So the good thing about this, guys, is look, all of these properties he could cash flow just by renting straight out. He chooses to stretch it this way, right? And if I was your age, I would stretch it too. Like if I'm getting $1,300 a month, and I've only had to deal with one, loony tenant that I knew I shouldn't have had, I'm going to work that out, right? Cool. All right. Next, you bought this property. You bought this property like a couple months ago, right?
Yep, November.
Yeah, Annandale. You're moving on up into the Beltway.
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought I could make it? I was like, hold up, and then I was like, I can get a loan for this.
It's because you had good income on the other property. So tell me this real quick. Did they look at your income on your other properties? They looked at did you calculate all that stuff?
Yeah, so I think they included it. I'm assuming it probably helped, but yeah, they looked at because I sent them all of my lease agreements from my other places, so they knew how much I was getting from there. So they looked at that as well, and my credit obviously was a big part of it.
And they had no problem with the fact that you had like 6 different leases for 2 different houses.
Surprisingly, no. I'm like, y'all sure y'all want to give me another loan? This is crazy. I just got one last year.
Right. So rule of thumb is they look at your rental income and they take 75% of what you get throughout the year. So if you were to get $10,000, then they will credit you basically $7,500 towards like basically a credit towards whatever your debit is. And your debit is your mortgage payment, right? Your expenses. Right. So rule of thumb, guys, if you have an investment property and you're like, hey, how do they calculate income? They don't the bank doesn't calculate the whole 100%. They calculate 75%. 75%. So good rule of thumb. So Annandale, you bought this for 520. Saheed helped you get this property. You put 5% down on this, correct?
I
Or
actually had to do a
10%?
little, I think I had to do a little bit more. I don't remember off back what it was. So he might know. But I had to do a little bit more just because of I think something was up with the calculations.
Debt to income ratio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, cool. But
So
again, you use that $1,300 a month that you saved that you stretched on the other property to put towards the purchase of this property.
exactly. I had it in the bank, so it's just like I don't really want to do this much, but okay, yeah, I can do it.
And your formula worked, right? So you were like,
Mhm.
hey, this is something I'm comfortable with. Monthly mortgage is $2,600.
Yep.
But this time you're only getting $1,700 a month. Tell me about that.
Yep. So this is a primary residence, so I'm living here. It's basically everything I wanted. I wanted to be within the Beltway. I wanted a basement unit with a walkout, and then I have two roommates that are moving over at the end of this month, and they're going to be staying on the top floor. I'll be in the basement, and obviously we share the main space as well. But um, it's the location is more prime, and it's more about this is more about where I'm going to stay. So I don't want to be. I could rent out the other room and then break even, but I'm not pressed to do that because I don't want a bunch of roommates. This is where I'm going to live. So the 1,700 is really just like a nice plus to make this affordable for me. So my rent out of my pocket is the different 920 whatever dollars it is.
Got you.
So
Got you. This model really, if you're a professional and you're like, yo, I don't want to do this, but I like the cash flow and I like the opportunity, this model could work around colleges with grad students. This would be a perfect model for somewhere around Fairfax, maybe somewhere around Catholic University, maybe somewhere where you were targeting grad students. This model would work really, really well, right? I don't know if I would go to college undergrad students. I would go grad masters, but yeah, that's the way that I think this model could work. So basically, your mortgage is $2,600. You're getting $1,700 a month. So you're essentially living in a nice basement apartment in Annandale for basically $900 a month.
yep.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I like it, brother. I like it. I like it. I love it, man. What type of renovations do you have to do in that basement to make it the way you want it?
Yep. So I spent probably like between probably like $5,000. So I just redid the ceilings. I had to put a new electrical box and new lighting fixtures. So I might have spent anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 for all of that.
Okay.
And that was basically it.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Cool. Yeah. And it looks like you put like somewhere around 10% down on this, which is great, man. That's how you do it. I'm gonna answer some of these questions. Aaron, are you doing real estate under your name or did you create a separate business?
Good question. So I actually am doing it under me now. However, I've been pushing this off for too long, and thank you for the reminder. But because I need to get a LLC because I've heard there's a lot of benefits to doing it that way. So and I heard it's not even that hard to do. I've just been slacking. So thank you for the reminder, Aaron. But that's the plan is to do that like tomorrow.
Cool. So let me give you guys a little guidance on that. It's very hard to buy a property under a LLC, right? Unless you are going to a commercial bank and you've got experience. But what I do is we're starting to get to the point now where we're paying off our properties and I'm putting into LLCs and into trust. And if I ever buy things in cash, I'll put it in LLCs and put it in things like that. But I run the management company under a LLC. So all the checks that come from my tenants and my leases are written to the management company, not to Alan Johnson, right? Or Crystal Johnson. So that way I write off all the income comes into the LLC and I write off all the business that's associated with handling that property. So every time he goes over there, every phone call, every meal that he has on the way, the time that he spent researching all that good stuff are things that are able to be written off on your LLC. So I encourage everyone who plans on either owning a property or renting a property, get an LLC, and then when you write your lease, right, write it in the LLC's name, right? Write the lease in the LLC's name with the tenant. Okay. Who else? Miss Harris, did you create your own leasing agreement or any other legal paperwork, or did you have a template handy?
I had a template. So I had a friend of mine, my old coworker, who she researched and found one, and she actually rented out her spare room. So basically, she gave me that one, and I went through it, made a tweak to what I wanted. But yeah, that's what I did. I didn't go through legal or anything. Should I have gone through legal? Maybe, but hey, it was online. It's fine. I've been good so far.
Right, right, all right. Yeah, yeah. You could probably find those online, guys. They're not overly complicated. They're not overly complicated at all. Okay, cool. Let's keep it moving because I want to honor everyone's time and thanks everyone for your energy. Have you guys been learning anything? Put it in the chat, man. If you've been learning anything, one thing you learned. So I did your calculations. I don't think you've done these calculations. You haven't even
No.
seen these calculations. So, brother, you are getting $25,000 a year in positive cash flow.
Mhm.
I mean, you ain't gotta be so excited about it. I mean,
You think I would know this stuff? I'm just like, I just been winging this thing. Well, okay. This is good. Thank you for doing that. Do I owe you a fee?
you know, you're good. You're good. You're a 3-time client. You're perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
Yearly cash flow 25,000. You put in, and I just did this off of the two properties. I did it off of case study 1 and case study 2. I did not do it off of Annandale because that's a different property, right? You put a total of $53,000 in, and you're getting $25,000 a month yearly. You're getting over 45% cash on cash return yearly.
Wow.
There's no investment, guys. And when you include that with the fact that he writes off a ton that he probably doesn't even know that he's writing off, right? Depreciation, plus his tenants are paying off his mortgage, right? Paying down his mortgage every month. And he's getting appreciation in the market. On off of those two properties, I think you're like almost 120,000 in equity, maybe more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just a great model, right? And this again, like I want you guys to understand when you come into these types of scenarios, you're not going to do everything that Mike does, right? But you can pick one thing that you can include in your strategy, right? One thing that you can include in your strategy. And I think sometimes when we come into these seminars, if we can't do exactly the way that Mike did it, that we can't get something out of it. Well, we can learn something from other people. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about landlord life. All right. So chapter 42. So tell me, who's going to go buy the book? Who has not gotten the book that's going to go buy the book? Tell me that. That's what I want to know. Chapter 42, tips for turning over your rental property. They are your investments. Treat them as such, right? If you got an investment on Scott Trade or on Robinhood, guess what? You go look at it, right? You're at least peeking at it. You got to go peek at your rental properties, right? You got to go walk through sometimes. You got to walk around the outside, right? These are your investment properties. You have to do that, right? Number 2, try to get your rental on a spring summer schedule. Try to get your rental on a spring summer schedule. I will tell you how I do that, right? So say someone wants to rent my property right now. I will make them sign a 16-month lease, right? Which puts me back into the spring summer schedule, right? Because in an ideal world, I want it at the beginning of the spring summer schedule. I would like it in late April, May would be perfect, because if my property stays vacant, I'm renting it out in June, July, and I'm still in the actual summer schedule. Okay. Price to rent fast. All right. The difference in rents, look, if you put a rental out there and it's, you're trying to stretch it, you want to get $2,300, but it takes you 4 months to get that, you might as well just price it at like $2,100 because you lost 4 months of rent. Right. So price it to rent fast and price it to rent where you can get a quality tenant. All right. Number 4, plan for any capital improvements during turnover time. I will repeat that. That is key. Plan for any capital improvements over turnover time. Guys, can you guess what capital improvements are? Give me some ideas of what capital improvements are. I'm gonna go in the chat. Mike, I want you to think about it as well. What are some capital improvements? capital improvements. Kitchen remodel, deck, paint, flooring, new roof, absolutely. HVAC repairs, new appliances, yes. The reason why I like to do capital improvements during when they're turnover is because, Mike, remember the call you got from me? The call. I think you called me what, about a month ago?
It might have been 2 weeks ago. The refrigerator.
2 weeks ago. So guys, like if you're going through a rental issue and you don't call me, like, and you ain't got my number, boohoo on you. Like I'm gonna always give you the right advice. I may have to call you back because I'm busy, but like your investment, I feel like is my investment. I only want to give you the best advice. So I want you to tell the story real quick if you can, Mike.
Yep. So probably was like, 2 weeks ago, I texted Alan like, hey, I got do you have a refrigerator repair guy or something? And he's like, give me a call. So I gave him a call, I talked to him, and then he's like, hey, it's probably gonna cost you just as much to like for a repair guy to come out than to just buy a refrigerator. So just buy an $800 refrigerator, write it off, do it before the end of the year. And I did it.
Yeah.
Instead of having somebody come out and repair and try to find the piece that's needed, and the refrigerator is old, so the piece might not have even been available. So you would have to pay a fee for somebody to come out, only to have to wait 2 weeks for the piece to come in. So, yep.
How many times would your tenants been calling you during that 2 weeks waiting for that piece to come in?
Exactly. Right. Food is all gone and dead. Bad. Yeah.
Pay for the food and all that stuff, right? So the reason why I do capital improvements during turnover time is because it's very hard to it's hard to do renovations as it is, but it's even harder to do a major renovation when the tenant's in the house, right? And then I don't get time to shop to see if if I got the right person. I'm on a really tight time crunch. So I like to do all my capital improvements during turnover time when I've got some woosah time. Like I've got time. If someone says my favorite contractor's on another job, it's going to take them another week. It's not going to kill me to wait another week. Whereas if I got a tenant in there and they pressing me to get something fixed and I got to get an HVAC fixed or replaced, like I don't have time to shop. I don't have time to do any of those things. So it's very important for you to know what capital improvements you need to do and make sure that you schedule those bad boys during your turnover time. And then last but not least, communicate your expectations of your tenant a few months before they move out. Communicate your expectations of your tenant a few months before they move out. And what I do actually, and I'm a little bit of an asshole, a prick with this, I will highlight the stuff that I want to make sure that they are going to do in the lease, and I'll send it to them. So if it's their responsibility to clean the carpet, I will highlight that bad boy and do it. If they have to get professionally clean before they move out, I highlight professionally and circle it and say that they got to give me a receipt. Like, timelines. People always ask for their security deposits. Well, in the state of Virginia, I got like in a standard lease, I got 45 days to get their security deposit back. So I'm highlighting that. Like, look, I'm gonna try my best to get your security deposit back, but per your lease that you were holding me to, I got 45 days. So it's very important if you own any type of real estate to make sure that you communicate your expectations of your tenant before they move out, because before they move out is easier than after they move out. All right. And you can do that. Any comments on what you just saw, Mike?
No, I think that's super key, especially about that. And then because, for me, even at the place that I was renting, like living in, and I had a landlord, something in the lease was about cleaning the gutters. I would have never read when you're looking at leases as a renter, you're not looking at all that stuff. You're just like, oh, okay, signing it. So that's smart to highlight it.
Yeah. Just go ahead and highlight it. I like to just get the expectations out there. So chapter 43 in the book, 43, preventative maintenance on rentals. I take out all washers and dryers. Now, you probably can't do that, Mike, because you're renting rooms, but my properties that I'm renting just to like families, I take out the washers and dryers. Yes, it keeps some people from moving in, right? But guess what breaks the most in rental properties? Washers and dryers, because they be wearing them bad boys out, right? So I take the washer and dryer out. If someone says, "Oh, I really want your property," and they're a good tenant, and I really want them, then I'll say, okay, I'll give you a $75 credit, right? And you can buy your own washer and dryer, and you take it with you after you're done, right? And then the other key is that I write in the lease that they have to have it professionally installed. I got burned by that before, right? They put it in there themselves. The water line backed out, flooded the place, right? And guess who had to fix it? This guy, right? Because I didn't write into the lease that it had to be professionally installed, right? So just one tip, a little pain, but I learned from that pain. I take out all garbage disposals. Guess the second thing that breaks the most? Garbage disposals, right? People put everything down garbage disposals. Like when I was renting, I was putting everything down garbage disposals. Chicken bones, like potato skins, Jolly Ranchers, like everything. So I take out all my garbage disposals. I remove ceiling fans and put up dome lights, right? Because ceiling fans, again, are one of those things that break the most, right? And then I always get my HVAC serviced in spring and fall. The reason why I do that is because if someone doesn't change out the filter and the HVAC breaks, I've got a record of my servicing. And oftentimes, here's a ninja trick. Lean in for me. I need y'all to lean in for me. Can you hear me? Like, tell me if you're in the chat, can you hear me? Like, are you leaning in? I'm waiting for you to lean in.
Somebody lean in.
Lean in. Okay. All right. Got it. All right, cool. So I always have my HVAC guy send me pictures of the interior of the property so I can use that as an inspection, right? So when he goes in, like I'm like, yo, number one, if you see anything funny, let me know, right? Number two, I'm like, yo, do me a favor, do a quick video of the property when you're there. So it saves me, if everything looks good, it saves me from having to go do an inspection. You like that? Y'all like that? Yeah. That's that Louisiana County trick I learned from L.A. Johnson, my dad. All right, cool. So that's chapter 43. And chapter 47, which is the last one, and we're about to get up out of here, guys. Chapter 47. I'm going to read a couple things from chapter 47 from you guys. So build your team before you need your team. All right. Success in real estate is found in the quality and the depth of your relationships. I'm going to repeat that. Success in real estate is found in the quality and the depth of your relationships. We live in a world that's more interested in what than who. When I look around me, there have been key relationships that have helped me to get to this level of real estate. Number one is mentors. Everyone is looking for someone that can help them make money in real estate. Many don't know how to build quality relationships. New technology has made it easier to communicate, but many mistake that for building relationships. I've known all my mentors in real estate for many years before I learned anything from them. I took the time to get to know them to determine if they would be the type of leader and teacher that could help me get better. I never paid for this relationship, but instead invested time and understanding in how I could help them and plant seeds in their life. Years later, I've seen, picked, and enjoyed the fruits of the harvest. Who can you plant seeds with today that will harvest good fruit? I'm gonna revise this. Who can you plant seeds with today that can harvest good real estate fruit for you in the future? Mentors, right? Number two, contractors. I love to find quality people that do quality work. Yes, I want a good deal, but I won't sacrifice the relationship over money. I ask people in business who they like. I keep a part-time and full-time contractor on deck at all times. Full-times for my jobs that require a larger scope, part-time for the minor fixes that my big guy can't get to. I proactively refer business to my team. So when it comes my turn for service, they make sure I'm taken care of. Bonus tip: never have your contractors chase money from you. Pay them on time and the relationship will always be rewarded. Last but not least, agents. Same as with contractors and mentors, having a great relationship with agents is vital to being successful in any part of real estate. A great agent is a connector, networker, and problem fixer, and a lifeline when you need one. The best way to ensure you are taken care of is to take care of someone else. Agents just don't need the referrals of your friends that are buying and selling, but opportunities for learning, quality contractors, and simply love. Many of you guys have just called me on days when I just needed love. Yep, I said love. Call and check in on the person that's going to assist you in the largest financial transaction of your life. Championships are won and enjoyed with the team. Even if you are simply planning to own one home and live there for the rest of your life, you still need a team to help you get your home in good condition. Additionally, if you're looking to make money, looking to make real estate investing a part of your retirement plan, building a quality team is important to your overall success. Give me one thing that you guys heard in that passage. One thing that you heard in that passage. And Mike, I'm going to ask you that question, and I'm going to let you go get back to work.
I need to be logging off. I'm like, oh, I actually gotta submit something. I think so the team and even the contractors is actually something that's huge. And I actually reach out to you every single time when I need a contractor, because I know you have a team of qualified contractors that have always been responsive, because I say, hey, AJ referred me. They're super responsive. They actually did my work at my house.
Yep.
So that's a big highlight that I saw. Have your team and even with the contractors, just being super quick with payment with them, keeping them on your good side. So
yeah, good stuff. All right, I'm gonna ask you this last question, Mike. I'm gonna let you go. If you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing about this real estate journey, what would it be?
I would say that, hey, this is lucrative. I didn't think this is, hey, it's lucrative, and this is going to be something that you're going to be able to eat off for a while. Again, I never thought about that. I never planned it really, like, for 10 to 15 years. So that's what I would just remind myself about it. So, and then also because when I first started, like I said, I wasn't making that much money. So I was making it work, but it's like, yo, once you get this thing started, you're going to be all right. You're going to be good. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Michael, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it. Guys, did you get any value out of Michael? Give him a soul clap. Give him a soul clap. Give him a soul clap in the chat.
And I saw my Mason family in here, Alon, Christian, Sade, ODU, but that's okay.
It's all good. It's all good. Mike, I love it, man. I love it. You can hang in here if you want to. I got a couple more housekeeping items. Guys, don't go anywhere. I've got something I need to share with you real quick. It's going to be pretty awesome. So you're going to want to hear this. All right. I'm going to get to your questions, and I'm going to open up so we can kind of talk. You and I, you guys and me, we can talk. Did you guys know we're going to be on HGTV this Saturday, 7:30? Set your DVR, because I know you're like so young and you don't get up so early on Saturdays, but we are going to be on there 7:30 a.m. Josh is going to be on there. If you guys saw the episode, this is a rerun. If you have not seen the episode, DVR, watch it, check it out, show us love. We already found out that I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Y'all ready for me to let the cat out the bag? I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Should I let the? I don't know if I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Nah, I can't let the cat out the bag. Do it. Go ahead. I don't know. I can't do it. Stop playing. Do it. I don't know. Guess what? Another member of the AJ team is going to be on House Hunters. More excellence. More excellence. I'm not saying who, Alex. I'm not saying, but we are the only real estate team in the United States that will have 4 members of their team on HGTV, right? Here's the beautiful thing. I talked to the producers. They want more of our people on House Hunters. So here's what I need you guys to do. They said they want people that are between the ages of 20 and 40. All right. They said they want people with good personalities and people that are strongly opinionaid about the house, the housing situation. I'm sorry, guys. The only way I got on is because I'm the boss. That's it. They said that they like couples, they like single folks as well. and that they are looking for people over the next like 3 to 4 months. So if you know anyone who's like just a good personality, someone who you think would be good on HGTV and is buying a house, they got to buy it with the AJ team. Let us know. And they don't want $1 million houses. They want like medium price houses. So in our area, medium price houses like 400, 500, 600. It's crazy to say that, 300, whatever it is. But they want people in that price range because they want people to to represent. So if you know anybody, connect us, right? Connect us, because we would love to get more of our good folks on HGTV. All right, cool. Next housekeeping. If you haven't gotten the book, get the book. If you read the book and you haven't given a 5-star review, please give me a 5-star review. Right, that is great. That would be awesome. You can get that on Amazon. And remember, all 100% of the proceeds go to the Be a Blessing Foundation. Right, I'm about to go deliver a $500 check to Featherstone Elementary tomorrow. In fact, Saheed and Alex are going to drop off the check for us because they have an after-school program where they have no snacks for kids. Right, so we're going to sponsor their snacks for the next, from here until the year end, into the years out. Right, and you guys by referring us, and you guys by just supporting us. This is, we try to be really responsible with the blessings that we have. All right. If you need the book, right? If you need the book and you just want your own copy or autographed copy, connect with us. You can connect with us at connect@ajteam.com. If you send us a referral, I will send you an autographed copy of the book. So if you email us, connect the AJ Team Realty with the referral, I'll make sure you get an autographed copy. It's going to be a bestseller. I'm claiming it. Right? I'm claiming it. And then what else? You guys ready for the next wealth building series? Say yeah. Say yeah. Say yeah, I'm ready for the next wealth building series. Say yeah. Yeah. So it's on Wednesday, the 9th. I will send out the invites, but we are going to do, so you want to buy an Airbnb. You think that would be a cool topic? So you want to buy an Airbnb. We've got one of our clients that owns 8 Airbnbs in Northern Virginia. We're going to talk about the do's and don'ts. We're going to answer questions about acquisition, renovations, management, and cash flow, right? And we will get the link to you guys. You guys are obviously on our mailing list. We will get the link to you guys as the date gets closer. So just think about who else might want to jump in. All of these Airbnbs are fully out and rented and running. He's been doing it for like 5 or 6 years, so he's got tons of experience. So we're going to talk about that. You guys excited about that topic? Is that something that's interesting? Right? Cool. All right, I'm gonna answer some of your questions here. I'm gonna take this off. I am going to raise your hand if you got a question, or if I haven't answered your question, and I will bring you up as a panelist, and we can talk it how you walk it. Hey, do you guys remember this album back here? Remember that album right there? Bring back some memories. All right, so let me get to some of your questions in the chat, since no one who's raising their hand. Let me see who's raising their hand. Trudy, what up, sis? Hold on, let me get you. What's up, my sister?
Hey, so my question was earlier when he was talking about the utilities. Is that baked into his rent, or was that something paid separately?
Paid separately. He said he charges $85.
Okay, I wasn't clear if that was separate. Cool. That was my question from earlier.
That's it.
Nice seminar. Yep. Thank you.
I appreciate you, sis.
All right.
All right. Hold on. Jasmine, hold on 1 second for me. Let me get you. Jazz, what's up?
Hi. I had a question. So he was saying earlier he was buying these properties, but I noticed they were investment properties and he wasn't putting down the full 20%. So are there loans available to get investment properties where you do not have to put down the full 20%?
So I remember having a conversation with him, Jazz, when he could have bought that second property by putting down less than 20%. He wanted to put down 20% because it was going to cash flow better for him, if I remember correctly.
I think that second property he put down 48,000 and the it cost 310. So he still didn't put down 20%. That's about a little over 10%.
Okay. So you're probably right. So he put down 10%, but remember, he moved up in property. So he moved up from the condo to the townhouse. So he didn't have to buy it as an investment property.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right? So one of the keys, Jazz, how old are you?
28.
28.
And so I own a property and then my husband owns a property. And so we have two, one of them we live in, and we're trying to, get into a third, but we don't necessarily want to, because we currently live in Arlington, don't necessarily want to leave where we're at.
Right.
But, we want to be able to, but we want to invest, but the 20% down on anything really in this area is a lot.
Yeah. So what I did is I just basically moved up. So I moved from one townhouse to a bigger townhouse to a smaller single family house. Right. Mm-hmm. And because I was moving up in property, the bank was able to see that I wasn't buying it. It wasn't like I was buying it for an investment property, even though I was buying it because my life was naturally moving up.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I think what I would do, Jazz, is I would just talk to a really bright lender and just kind of tell them about your plan. And just see off the record if they can give you any advice on how you can get that accomplished.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for your question.
Yeah.
And thanks for checking my math though, too. I appreciate that. I was a public school kid.
Thanks.
Aaron, what's up, AB? Take yourself on mute.
Okay. Where'd it go?
What's up, Mr. Baltimore? How can I help you, brother?
Oh, I had a question on how you run inspections. Is something you put in the lease agreement? Is it something that you do often, or about how often would you do an inspection?
You should. All right. So it just depends on the type of tenant that you got. Like I got tenants that have been in my house, Aaron, for like 7 years. I'm not going by there every quarter to check their property. Like they've been in the property 7 years. Like I know how they live. Generally, rule of thumb, I'm going by there every 6 months. And anytime I got to get a repair, I have my repairman tell me if he sees anything kooky going on.
Okay. And that's generally, is that written into the lease agreement, or is that just
Yeah. In the standard Virginia lease, and obviously, we got 3 different jurisdictions, but I'm pretty sure most is as long as landlord gives reasonable notice, landlord can really go into the property anytime.
Great.
Right. I don't think you want to be doing that, right? But
no, I don't want to be doing that. I just of course it is going to depend on who you have in there and how you feel about them, and when you check things to see what they're doing.
Yeah. Jazz, Josh says that you may be able to get buy your property as a second home. Guys, I've read about building your team. A lot of the investment properties that I purchase, I'm talking to my agent well before, and I'm talking to my lender well before I'm buying it. So the apartment buildings that we bought, I was talking to my lender probably about 2 years, making sure that my income was right, making sure that my taxes look right so that I could prepare to buy, right? So a lot of your recon on what type of loans you're going to use, do that stuff really early, okay? All right, who else have I missed? Miss Miranda, hold on one second. I got you. What's up, Miranda?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
Yep.
So my question, currently I have a property that I am renting. And I moved out of it and moved into something else. And so now I am renting myself, but I still have tenants. And I want to keep that property and, get another property for myself. But I do have an issue because the loan that I have on the current property is a VA loan.
Okay.
So I'm trying, I guess my question is kind of how do I make that next step? How do I do that? Yeah, and that might have to be a longer conversation than we have time for, but I'm interested in exploring that option.
So I can spitball some ideas. I really got to ask more questions, and if you need me to do that, we can set up a time to do that. Just kind of talk it through. Just some ideas. Maybe if you wanted to use your VA to buy another property, maybe you refinance the property that you have as an investment property into a conventional loan if you have enough equity, and it frees your VA to go buy a property with zero money down.
Right. Okay.
Look, banks aren't going to care what type of loan you have on the property you're renting, as long as you're paying the the mortgage is being paid. So you don't have to go restructure it unless you have to restructure it to use that VA to go purchase your next property, which might be a good idea.
Okay. And one follow-on question for that. So now, and I'm in Alexandria in the Kingstown area.
Mm-hmm.
And the condo that I currently have, again, it's an older condo built in the 80s. So the HOA seems to just keep growing. Like it's getting almost ridiculous. Would you recommend staying in that or buying something else?
It would really depend on your long-term plan, Miranda. So I just think we kind of need to kind of talk through that. I will tell you that I am a big proponent, especially if you have equity, of repositioning real estate these days. So guys, when I say reposition real estate, I sold a couple of my properties to go buy 2 other properties, right? Because I knew that I didn't want to keep that condo because the fees were going up. So I said, okay, I'm just going to take my equity off and I'm going to buy one. I'm going to put some towards my primary residence, and I'm going to put some towards another townhouse, maybe in a different location, maybe a vacation house, like maybe a beach condo, something different that I felt like I was going to own for the next 10 to 15 years. So I see a lot of smart people repositioning real estate, taking stuff off the table, getting out of properties that they know they don't want to own over the next 5 years, or they're going to want to sell over the next five years, and positioning it into things that they know they're going to own for 5 years or more.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Let me make sure I got everybody here. Miranda, got you. Erica, I think I got you already. Tell me, put in the chat if I didn't. Hi, Miss Bloomfield.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully well, thank you.
Wonderfully well. Wow.
So the question is,
yes, ma'am.
Wonderful information, but you started out saying, or it seemed to start out talking about a younger person or younger population doing these things. Right. So I'm looking for, would any of this change, or are the tips, or would the tips be different for someone who is in an older age bracket who may have some other demand? And so if you're younger and you're not looking about college or looking towards retirement, or again, just some different stressors or items that would be put on your income that you're making. So getting into this game, are those tips going to change, or would they be the same?
I think that they change a little bit, Jen. But I think the mindset doesn't, right? I think that, your daughter's coming out of Virginia Tech, right? Maybe you help her buy a property that she can get roommates in and turn that into an investment property that both of you can benefit off of.
Okay.
Right. So, I think that there are ways that there are strategies and tips that we can use from Mike's story. And you just kind of got to figure out like where in your life you can plug and play. Guys, I'm a big proponent of buying like your retirement home right now. Like if you can buy your retirement home right now, I encourage you to do it. The reason why I encourage you guys to do it is because rates are really low, and it's probably going to be a long-term property, right? And yes, we know the market may pull back a little bit, but if you're going to own the property for the next 15 years, 20 years, we're going to go through several market cycles of ups and downs, right? Go ahead and get your property, get the lay of the land, get into the place where you know you're going to be happy, which for us is a beach, right? And just get proactive in going and looking for that property.
Okay. We'll talk.
I got you. I got you. I got you. All right. Did I get everyone else? Erica, did I get you, sis? Oh, I'm going to get you right now. My bad. Hey, Erica.
Hey, good evening. First, I want to say thank you for having this. The information has been great. I actually had two questions. One thing that I didn't hear mentioned is there a recommended profit margin to make an investment property worth your time? In other words, obviously we know we don't want to just go in the red or break even every month, but is there, like, from your experience, a recommended takeaway?
I don't like not cash flowing, Erica.
Okay.
That's my thing. I just don't like not cash flowing, right? But if I own a property somewhere in Arlington that I know is going to continue to go up in value, right? Or somewhere that's a really good location, then I may think about it a little bit. My rule of thumb is I like to cash flow at least $300 a month.
Okay, that's helpful. My second question is, and I'll give instead of dancing around my personal scenario. I've already had 2 properties that I sold, and I'm in my primary property now. Is there any advice on using equity in my current residence that I plan to maintain to invest with?
It depends on how much.
Okay.
It depends on how quickly you're going to be able to pay it back. So in Mike's case, he's cash flowing so much that I don't mind him using equity off of his property, because I know he's going to get like $1,000 a month that he can go to chip that whatever he needed to use to get it paid off. Now, the benefit of using your equity or equity lines, a couple of different things. Number one, you actually get to write it off twice. You get to write off the expense of purchasing the property, plus you get the interest, because it's an interest loan on your primary property. You get to write that off too. Right. So, as long as if you're using that money to buy another property, and then you're using that money to get another property, I think it's, you got to use what you got.
Okay. Yeah, that's my plan. I'm only taking out equity for something that's going to make more money.
Right.
I've just been kind of going back and forth on if it's the right thing to do.
I think, if it's a smart property, why not use the equity? It's sitting there.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm scared of losing my equity too here. Something goes wrong with the market.
We can't. I will tell you, I've bought quality real estate in up and down markets.
Okay.
Quality real estate is quality real estate, no matter what. So there's always, the one thing I don't see is rents going down. So if it cash flows now, I don't see rents going down.
Right. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You are welcome. All right, I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? Okay. All right, man. Well, everyone have a good night. You guys mind if I pray you guys out? Is that okay? Most High, thank you for this time. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this collection of beautiful people. We ask you just breathe your spirit into their families, into their homes, into their investment strategies, into their families, just their mindsets, their finances, their careers. Allow them to be able to use this information to bless their families, and to bless everyone that they touch. All these things we pray in the Most High's name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys, take it easy.